Hey, good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody had a good weekend, and I'm wishing everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. If I don't speak to you before, I hope that you have lots of good food, good health, and good company with whoever you choose to spend. Even if it's alone, then just love the one you're with. Anyway, listen, I want to let you know that the wallpaper's coming. That's right. I'm going to set up a little backdrop, like a lot of podcasters do. Wallpaper, scenery to add to the ambiance of my command center. I'm just debating whether to move my desk back from the wall and put the wallpaper on the wall behind me or buy one of those like cubicle dividers, which you can get for like 18 bucks. Put it behind me and then put the wallpaper on it. It's a tough decision because I'm kind of comfortable where I'm sitting right now, but a lot easier just to tape the wallpaper on the wall. I know there's bigger problems. Anyway, you know what? There's stand-up comedy, right? And there's also a new thing called sit-down comedy. I've seen a lot of comics at open mic sit down doing comedy. Some of the comics are even starting to sit on the stools. That stool that's always sat there, that is becoming utilized by lazy comics. Nope. No, I haven't seen any disabled ones get. The disabled ones keep hopping around the stage, limping around. It's always the lazy ones who sit down and start it. Well, listen, there's another form of sit down comedy. It's called podcasting. Okay? When I don't feel like standing up, doing comedy in my living room, I sit down under the guise of doing a podcast. But then I can inject my comedy into the podcast. And that's one of my goals is to set up wallpaper and to continue to build upon my podcast. Because of, let's not let's not beat around the bush. It's wintertime. It's getting cold. I don't feel like being out there in the streets. And there's only so much of open mics that I can handle it. I just can't take too much of hanging around open mics. So that the alternative is podcasting. But you know what? You know what I do for money, for living? I usually have jobs that involve wearing a yellow vest, which because they're easy to come by. It's very hard to break into the hotels over here. It's not so easy to get a good government job unless you're working for the post office as a mail carrier, which is I don't even want to get into that. You know what I'm saying? But the pickings are slim, so sometimes the easiest jobs that come by are valet parking, traffic control. That's about it, or taxi driver or whatever. But I worked for a few months at an airport as a rental car driver. Had to wear a yellow vest. And most recently, I've worked as like the door person in a taxi stand. Didn't wear a yellow vest, but I had to wear a uniform, and everybody's coming up to me asking you questions all the time. And I've been traffic controller. I've worked in the airport, with the orange, the red wand saying, yeah, basically, I've done that, and I continue to do that because this is how I make my money right now. And I'm telling you, whatever you do, whether you work as a rental car driver, you put on a yellow vest or a uniform, suddenly you become important. Suddenly you have the answers to everything. Suddenly people feel that they can approach you and just ask you any kind of a random question. A lot of them are nice, but a lot of them are extremely rude. They don't care if you're helping somebody else or if you're doing something else. A lot of them say, yo, hey, without even greeting you, interrupting you from doing something which really is more important, like crossing pedestrians or your own safety. And it's usually motorists who do it. It's why I don't like driving, and I don't like motorists because they put their needs above pedestrians' needs. And I'm out there in the middle trying to, direct traffic, and they're opening up their, even in the airport, my job was not really to help people, but to park cars. People constantly, and you know what I kept thinking all the time? Every time these people would come up to me and interrupt me or call me, and I always smiled. I was always, but I was always thinking, you know, If I wasn't wearing this uniform, as soon as I take it off, they won't know me from Adam. They wouldn't even know I exist. They're so caught up in them because I've stood on the street in New York City. I've tried to sell comedy tickets. I've had people walk by like space cadets in their own little world, women, men, like zombies. And I keep thinking, when none of these people walk up to me and just like barrage me a question, I think that's the same person I saw last week walking through Times Square who acted like they didn't know me. Or that's a group of women who all came and sat at my table in karaoke, and were talking to everybody but me. Made me feel even more lonely when they came and they joined my table. Or, oh, that's a couple over there last week when I was by myself in a bar and I was trying to make conversation and they wouldn't really carry on a conversation with me, but they were talking right over my head to another couple who they didn't even know. That's the same ones. And now they have the nerve to walk up to me and act like they know me and ask me questions. This is what happens when you spend too much time in your head, thinking all the time. I get that kind of problem, but at least I'm aware. I'm aware it's not normal, and I don't act upon it. I just want to talk about it. Why can't we have a conversation about these things? And that's where comedy or podcasting comes in, where I can talk about these thoughts, and I encourage everybody else out there. Let's have a dialogue. Let's talk about the mishigas in our brain. Anyway, that's about it. This is my podcast update. I just wanted to share with all you. Yellow vest, all wrapped up in the yellow vest. And I'm really looking forward to the wallpaper. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys too. Enjoy your holiday. We'll be back with more entertainment for you real soon.